Trump admin pushes prosecution of James Comey. What's behind the indictment? From FBI Director to defendant, the stunning fall of James Comey. Why Trump's Justice Department is reviving old allegations against Comey. Critics warn of political prosecutions as Trump targets former rivals. Trump's long feud with Comey reaches its most explosive chapter yet. What the Comey indictment means for the future of US justice. The Trump administration has always had a combative relationship with the Justice Department and federal law enforcement. But now, in one of the most dramatic moves yet, President Trump's allies are pushing forward with the prosecution of former FBI Director James Comey. What makes this story even more explosive is not just the target, but also the circumstances. The case is being led by Lindsey Halligan, a newly appointed US attorney in Virginia, who took office less than a week ago. Her first assignment is to indict one of the most high-profile figures in America. Tonight, we break down what happened, how this case unfolded. It could have massive consequences for the independence of US justice. To understand the stakes, let's rewind. James Comey was appointed FBI Director by President Barack Obama in 2013. Initially, his reputation was that of a straight shooter, a lawman known for independence, not partisanship. But his handling of the 2016 election, particularly the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails, put him at the center of political storms. When Donald Trump became president in 2017, Comey found himself in direct conflict with the White House. Trump asked for his loyalty, according to Comey's own testimony, but the FBI director resisted. In May 2017, Trump abruptly fired Comey, citing his handling of the Clinton case. But later, Trump admitted in an interview that the Russia investigation which Comey was overseeing played a role in his decision. From that moment on, Comey became one of Trump's fiercest critics, writing books, giving interviews, and testifying before Congress. Trump in turn labeled him a liar and leaker, accusing him of betraying the presidency. For years, the Justice Department under Trump considered charging Comey over alleged mishandling of memos he wrote about his meetings with Trump, but prosecutors repeatedly concluded that there wasn't enough evidence. Many thought the issue was closed. Until now. The person now at the center of this legal drama is Lindsey Halligan. Until recently, Halligan was a relatively unknown lawyer. She built her career as a defense attorney and became part of Trump's legal team during some of his biggest legal battles, including the investigations into classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Earlier this month, she was appointed as the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, a powerful role overseeing some of the nation's most sensitive cases. But her arrival wasn't smooth. According to reports, her predecessor resigned rather than pursue the Comey indictment, believing the case lacked solid legal footing. That left Halligan with her first major test just days into the job. And it wasn't an easy debut. Observers in the courthouse noted her nervousness. She reportedly walked into the wrong courtroom, stood on the wrong side of the judge, and appeared uncertain about the paperwork she was handling. For any new attorney, mistakes happen. But in this case, the stakes couldn't have been higher. She wasn't just handling a routine case. She was indicting one of the most controversial figures in modern American politics. So, what exactly is Comey accused of? The indictment reportedly centers on allegations that Comey mishandled classified information in the memos he wrote about private conversations with President Trump. Some of those memos, which detailed Trump's request for loyalty and his comments on the Russia investigation, were later shared with journalists. Trump and his allies argue that this was a betrayal of national security. They claim that Comey used his position to damage the presidency and advance his own interests. But critics see the indictment as something else, a politically motivated move. They argue that Comey had already been investigated over these very same memos, and prosecutors previously decided not to bring charges. Reviving the case now, under Trump's direction, looks less like justice and more like revenge. The decision to pursue Comey reflects a broader strategy by Trump to target his political enemies through the Justice Department. It's part of a pattern, reshaping the federal government's institutions to serve his political agenda. For Lindsey Halligan, this has been a baptism by fire. On her very first week in office, she had to balance three enormous pressures: navigating a new courthouse, proving her credibility as a prosecutor, and delivering results for the administration that appointed her. Her mistakes in court, entering the wrong room, standing on the wrong side of the judge, fumbling paperwork quickly, made headlines. Critics argue that she was not chosen for her prosecutorial experience, but for her loyalty to Trump. Supporters, however, say those missteps are minor compared to the courage it takes to step into such a politically charged case. They see her as someone willing to take on powerful figures like Comey without flinching. The question now is whether her inexperience will undermine the case, or whether her loyalty to Trump will overshadow the pursuit of justice. The Comey indictment is not just a legal matter, it's a political bombshell. For Trump supporters, it's a long-awaited moment of accountability. They believe Comey helped orchestrate the Russia investigation, which they see as a witch hunt against Trump. Indicting Comey, in their view, is justice finally being served. For critics, this is a dangerous precedent. They argue that Trump is weaponizing the Justice Department to punish his enemies. If prosecutors can be pressured into charging political opponents, the independence of American justice is at risk. The move also raises questions internationally. Allies are watching closely, wondering whether the US, long considered a model of rule of law, is sliding toward political prosecutions, more common in authoritarian states. So, what happens now? The indictment sets the stage for a long and bitter legal battle. Comey's defense team is expected to argue that this case is purely political and lacks legal merit. They may also point to previous Justice Department findings that decided against charges. Meanwhile, Trump's allies will likely use the indictment as the rallying cry heading into the next election cycle. It plays directly into Trump's narrative of fighting the deep state and holding his enemies accountable. But this case could backfire. If the charges collapse in court, it will strengthen Comey's image as a victim of political persecution. It could also damage Trump's credibility and raise questions about the judgment of those carrying out his agenda. Beyond Comey, the bigger issue is the precedent being set. If political leaders can push prosecutors to go after their rivals, what does that mean for the future of American democracy? Will every change of power lead to new rounds of politically motivated prosecutions? The answers to those questions will determine not just Comey's fate, but the direction of the US justice system for years to come. The prosecution of James Comey is more than just another legal case. It's the culmination of years of tension between Donald Trump and one of his most vocal critics. It's also a test of whether the Justice Department can remain independent when political leaders are determined to bend it to their will. For Lindsey Halligan, the new US attorney, this case defines her career from the very start. For Trump, it represents both a personal victory and a broader strategy of retribution. And for America, it raises a sobering question. Are we witnessing justice in action or the weaponization of the legal system? As this trial unfolds, the stakes couldn't be higher. The outcome will shape not only the legacy of Trump and Comey, but also the credibility of the Justice Department itself.